It's coffee and donuts ice cream.
That's
More
right.
of
We talked
that?
about it last time.
Yeah,
I was wondering. I couldn't remember what kind you had talked about, but oh, is it still amazing?
it is still so good.
Ah.
It's
Coffee and donut ice cream only to be found on Actual Play.
or more actually, grocery outlet.
Of
More
the
actually.
stars.
Space ice cream.
Space
Dun,
ice
dun,
cream.
dun. But not
It's good.
astronaut ice cream. It's different.
Oh,
This ice cream is Jack Nicklaus branded. I guess he's a golfer, but when I saw it in
Okay.
the store the first time, I thought it was Jack Nicholson's ice cream.
yeah, that's like
That's alarming.
Yeah, yeah, but it's delicious. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, you folks have 2 jobs and a ship, and you are space worthy, and all your downtimes are completed.
It is
So-
time.
It's going to take you another day to reach the system gate and translate over into the Breck system. So you had your little discussion, but no final things were accounted for or done here.
Yep.
You folks have some sweet bikes that Loren
That's
acquired,
right.
stashed on board. And that's currently the only cargo aside from your passengers that you're carrying.
Right.
Carrie is sullen and angry and largely uncommunicative, and sometimes like she spends a lot of her time in the med bay organizing things in very straight lines and making sure that scalpels and sharp objects are out and on trays where they can look menacing.
at some point, Faye needs to have a bonding moment with Carrie over being frustrated with Lauren, but
Mm-hmm.
we'll see that, I'm sure, in time. So from what Barzuk said, what do we know about this artifact that we're trying to recover?
Yeah, let's review our
So if you recall, the Alvaron noble has currently entered the system with a big Alvaron ship.
and this is a person that we don't know that Lauren has some history with.
How much have you told them, Loren?
probably I would tell them now as we're
Cool.
like discussing this job.
Nice.
Okay.
Like, oh, so it's personal.
Do you want to fill us in on the details, or shall we give
Can
them the
you
2-second version?
remind me a little bit?
Cool, no
'Cause
problem.
this is so
Uh,
far back.
Back in the dawn of time, in Stardancer episode 1, when dinosaurs around the Earth.
Yeah, a month ago.
No, actually, we've been
How
playing
long?
since
I wonder.
This is more than a month ago.
April 6th was our first game.
Wow.
So I have
So
been
great.
hanging out with you lovely people for a lot longer than a month.
Okay.
I'm infinitely grateful. Anyway,
That one.
the thing that we know from Loren's backstory
Mhm.
is that Loren, being a journalist, had done a piece on a certain Alvaron noble, and in the process discovered that this Alvaron noble beneath his mansion had essentially like a small army of like weaponized Urbots. Loren, of course, panicked, tried to do an expose, talk about stuff, and this person slowly, carefully, and methodically destroyed the entire framework of Loren's life, which caused Loren to flee to a different system controlled by a different noble house, and is currently looking for ways to either prove his story true or somehow undermine the noble in return. Notably, one of the reasons why Loren came to the Procyon sector is a long, long time ago, right before, it's almost 50 years ago, actually, right before the Ascension War, this specific branch of the Alvaron family owned this sector. And the Alvaron noble that is coming through is the same Alvaron noble that had all of these Urbots beneath his mansion. So that's the scenario. So, notably, what you've been told by Bar Hazuk is that the Prime has found out that this man has these robots, these Urbots, and moreover, they're on his ship. And what he's seeking is something that allows him to control them. So essentially what the Prime says is, look, I don't know if he knows exactly where it is. I don't know if he is looking for it. I don't know if he's going to get it. But bringing all of them into the system is extremely dangerous because the Prime refers to them as the choir, and Bartasuk passes that on. But he says that if the choir is commanded by an individual, they're a potent force that will swing the balance of power in the sector. And so what he's essentially sending you to do is to do a very dangerous, risky mission in an ancient temple to try and fetch the controls, like the control piece first, so that if he does come looking for it, it's just not there.
Great.
Yeah, I think we're gonna steal it first.
Yeah.
It is exactly what Faye said. Whenever you find out that somebody's gonna steal a super weapon, you just steal it first.
Get
There. It's the whole premise of National Treasure, and I love that movie.
So there will theoretically not be resistance for us showing up to this place because it's a conclave.
Abandoned Ur Temple, yeah.
Oh, it's an Ur Temple, so it's not a conclave temple. It's if we run into this guy, it's going to be a shit show.
Yeah.
So, as a matter of fact, you know that the guy is maybe a month behind you because you guys have a fast ship, and the moment that, like, even before you got this mission, you were already booking, and he's doing this, like, essentially
Tour?
he is on a diplomatic mission where he's saying, like, oh, Mount Clayth is so great, but we're just visiting these planets that we once used to have, acknowledging Mount Clayth's power, but, you know, like, kissing babies and shaking hands and doing this, like, victory tour kind of thing.
He's trying to do it on the DL.
Yeah.
Not
But he's headed in the same direction as you, but he's using his giant noble ship as like a yacht, and he's taking his time, and he's being very public about his stuff. So as you've been moving planets, you've been actually getting further and further ahead of him. And the news reports that I've been mentioning have helped you keep track of where he is. So you know that for a fact, this dude is way behind you. You are way ahead of him.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think perhaps what we should do is, because we don't really know what we're going into, we don't know what we're up against, is maybe get into the system, gather a little bit of information, and then we can decide whether we're going to do an infiltration plan, which we sneak in, an assault plan where we beat up the defenders. That doesn't seem likely, but a mystic plan where we're like, Bosun, turn on your mystic dar and find the thing. Right? Does that sound buoyant? Gosh, you know what? I wrote it down. So I have this card, so I will stop getting the names wrong. But guess what? I wrote it down wrong. I wrote down Boyan.
You did a good job of referencing your notes.
Right. But
I'm proud of you, Chad.
Carrie. There's Carrie. Victor Boz. I was like, I'm going to stop doing this. And now I've scratched out Boyan. Thank you.
Yeah, and you just use Victor Boz. Your brain, your poor brain.
Yeah. Today has been a really bad day.
I'm so sorry, Sean.
good.
You're loved and cared for, and
I feel it now.
Really type notes to you so that you get them right, but I am not judging you.
I feel a lot of love. So yeah, does that sound okay to you? I know we want to jump into the score, but I think into the job, but I think we should gather some information first.
Yeah,
and I think it
for
makes
sure.
sense to do that
Well,
when we arrive in orbit, right? In Atmo.
Yeah. So we know we need these bikes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so things that you need to know. Ur temples are exceedingly dangerous because imagine every movie you've ever seen about robbing like a Hollywood-style Egyptian tomb with the like booby traps and stuff.
Right. This is Indiana
Imagine
Jones.
that those booby traps are like ancient Urbots, strange mechanisms that make no sense that reconfigure the insides of these things, places where physics go just completely awry and stuff like that.
It's like a Zelda temple.
It is actually exactly like a Zelda temple.
I'm so excited.
Right?
Why are we doing this again?
They're all different. So yeah, it's exactly Zelda Temple is actually a pretty cute way of describing these. Yeah, it's a bizarre place, and it's pretty dangerous if you don't have mystics to read like flows of the way and whatnot. It's pretty dangerous even if you do have like mystics to read the flows of the way. Most ancient Earth sites like this have either been completely picked clean or they have been rendered off limits by the hegemony. Like, if, like you know, this is quarantined.
We don't care about that.
Dara hasn't had that problem because the temple itself destroys a lot of access to it because it shuts off ship engines and stops advanced technology properly.
That's right.
And so what you acquired was very old school bikes with things like mechanical combustion engines and no electronic components. Like they're essentially the collector's pieces that people would have. And
those things are really cool.
I think that Lauren like knows a lot about them, but has never actually ridden one, and like has a leather jacket because he's kind of like a fanboy.
He is prepared to go
He's
out.
So
So good.
excited.
Nice.
Awesome. In the process of like trying to figure out what we do or don't know and what we do or don't need to do as we're making our way towards the gate, Boz will make a point to pull Boy in, like sort of into the all right, what are we doing conversation as I can imagine us sitting around with whatever beverages or meals or, standing and eating cereal.
Yeah, I think once we've decided that this is what we're doing, we pull Boyan in and we also have Barzik there.
Yeah, and at this point, I don't think it matters if Cyber Dude is watching us either, because
he'll be leaning quietly in a corner. He's oddly a pretty good guest.
I imagine he's just like chewing tobacco the whole time.
Actually, he doesn't eat at all, as far as you can tell. He never joins you for meals. He never steals any like food from the fridge when you're not looking. You just see him periodically like doing like one arm, like he does like chin lifts with both hands, and then just like with his cyber hand, right? Like occasionally you see him like doing stuff around the ship. But he's pretty quiet, and actually he just kind of watches all of you a lot. It's a little creepy. Like sometimes you'll be like in the engine room fixing something. He'll just walk in and sit down and like work on his arm and just quietly sit there for like 2 hours and then get up and walk out. Like it's part of the routine.
Well, I know we're enjoying calling him Cyber Dude, but what is his name?
Yeah, thank you.
Well, Pastrosh has made a name list, so I'm going to use
what?
Right?
Hey, Pastrosh.
I'm always happy when I'm kind to my future self.
Me
Naps.
too.
God, I have
Naps.
his name is going to be Zaid Guns.
Yes.
All right.
Call him Guns,
Spell that for. Not that it matters, because we are just going to call him Guns. You're right,
However,
but spell Zaid for me.
There you go.
Okay. All right, Zaid Guns with 2 N's. Real guns, double.
Fucking Guns.
Yeah.
There you go. That's his name, since you asked.
All right, Guns. Okay. But right now we're talking to Boyan with a Y and not a Z. And so I think unless Boyan has does Boyan have specific things he knows about this temple that he can share?
No. Okay. I've never been. I've heard some horror stories. I know. I heard a rumor that there was a pirate crew that tried stashing a treasure there, but they were never heard from again.
Oh, I bet that means the treasure's still there.
It could be. I'm just saying. I heard it's extremely dangerous. People that go in tend to not come out. People have gone there on some dares, but I don't know any kids that have actually gone inside the ruins. They usually go to the outside and take photos of themselves.
So
Yeah.
why did you agree to come with us if it's so dangerous?
So, are you guys having this talk around the dinner table?
Yeah.
Cool.
This is the sort of thing we definitely talk about all the time.
Whenever you're talking to him, he always has a different drink next to him. So, like, no matter what you're talking about, he's got a glass of something. And he's never, like, sloshed, but he's always pouring a liquid of a different and sometimes strange color. Today, it's some shade of green. And I think that what he does is, like, he swirls around with a finger and then, like, plucks it out. And, like, you watch, like, a droplet form. And then he looks at you and he says, like, smuggling is a very dangerous profession. And then he, like, licks his finger clean and then, like, takes the shot. And he goes, like, why are you on board?
Right. We're all friends here, and we have to do this. So
I'm not being unfriendly, but
No,
I know. I just don't want anyone here to convince you not to do this job with us. So
actually, he's genuinely curious. He's focused on Loren. So unless people kill that comment and like try to like steer him hard to left.
Boz will very happily turn
to Loren.
I
think as he asks, Loren actually looks at Faye for a second and then as he realizes that he's being stared at, he's like, I am here because I believe in truth, and I used to work for the HNN, and I was doing some research, and I found out that this nobleman was up to no good, and he kind of ran me out of town, and I think people need to know, and I think he needs to be stopped. And I think that this is the best way for me to make that happen. And he like really looks at Boyan and is like, I am saying the truest words that I have said in a while.
So I think what Boyan says is, I'm here for religious reasons. You might consider my stay here a sabbatical. And he grins. He's not entirely telling the truth, but it's pretty damn close. Mostly what he's joking about is the sabbatical part.
Mm-hmm.
So he turns to Faye and he goes like, yeah, I mean, that's what I know about the place. I haven't really gone, but if that's where your path leads you, then that's where your path leads you.
Faye kind of Faye sort of frowns a little bit as Lauren is opening up and telling like all this truth that he's never shared with his friends to this relative stranger. And as Lauren is like bearing his soul to this rando that we just hired on to come with us rather than say sharing it with us, she kind of tells, and then she like looks down at like the little map we have of the system and says, so we're sneaking in then, or are we relying on Boyan to guide us with his senses? And this is Faye cutting to the chase, and Sean asking if we want to do an infiltration or a mystic score. Mystic makes a lot of sense, but that does put a lot of the emphasis on Boyan as the asset. I mean, he is an asset we acquired, right? Like he's there. He wants to do this with us. He's but infiltration, sneaking in is maybe more our typical jam.
Well, I think Lauren would kind of say, I think we're going to need Boyan whether we sneak in or don't sneak in, so we might as well play it on the safe side.
Great. Yeah. No. Boyan's the best, and he's gonna get us in. That sounds great. Faye is clearly again feeling jealous of this camaraderie Lauren is forming with Boyan, but she's gonna stay focused. So I think that means that we're gonna do a mystic plan, and our arcane power is Boyan.
Right. That sounds fine.
I think a thing that Basil sort of like look at Boyan and be like, outside of other conversations I want to have with you, I maybe can help. I don't know. Maybe. He
you actually hear the kind of liquid click. He has like big pitch black like fish eyes, and you hear him basically do the like clip. And as he looks at you, he goes like, maybe, and he pushes a drink towards you as well.
Nice.
I think
buy in all the way.
There's a moment where like we kind of all start standing up and being like, oh, this conversation's over, and Lauren kind of turns to Boyan and says, look, I know that you haven't been with us long, but we're here for each other. And like, I would give my life for these two. I thought that I might have lost them the last job we were on. And if you put them in a position where they're unsafe, I swear to God, I will come for you until the day I die. I want you to be in this crew. So don't make me go there. And Lauren waits for a response.
I think he senses that this is like deeply meaningful to you, and you get the sense that he's like trying to decide if he wants to be a smartass or not. Like there's there's an actual concrete difficulty for him to overcome the impulse to make a flippant remark.
If I won't ruin the fun, Boz will very happily interrupt.
Oh, please go ahead.
Which, that drink that has been slid over to Boz is gonna toast Lauren and like, glad you're here too. I'm glad we're all here. Cheers to that, yeah. And I'm assuming everybody has a beverage in hand at this juncture if Boyan's at the table or near at hand.
He will make beverages appear. That's one of his mystic powers.
It's amazing. Boyan is staying.
Yeah. If he has that power. Faye gets up from the table and storms off. She disappears to the med bay.
Legit.
I think Boyan's like, wherever the flows of life may lead us, and then he drinks and watches Loren to see if this is satisfactory.
Loren is kind of, it's obviously not totally satisfactory, but Loren kind of does like the half nod and then drinks his drink unceremoniously. There's no toast back, but it's like, okay, all right, I'll let this be this for now.
If Loren leaves or moves away from the table, Boyan will lean over to Boz and be like, nobody's told him that precursor temples are full of like crushing jaws of death and horrific things, and I'm leading you into what is essentially a death trap looking for you're not even sure what, right?
Yeah, I think that Lauren has walked out of the room before he says
that. I don't want to interrupt that scene, but at the end of that scene I want to have it smash cut to the med bay.
No problem.
Awesome. And Boz will sort of
response.
Boz will be like, none of us know what we're doing.
Actually, he has I don't know if you want to spend cred, but this is something we can talk about.
Yeah.
He has a moment where he looks at you and he says like, well, then maybe you should start training. And he looks very serious at that moment.
How
That's the only way we learn.
How so?
Meet me in the cargo bay.
Yeah.
And then he goes like, just 1 second. And then he like takes out a glass and like pours 3 things and then like walks over to where like the big cyber dude is and he's like sharpening a knife or something. And then he goes like, not a big clear drink drinker, eh? And he just like throws it over his shoulder and like replaces it with a new glass. He's like, I put a shot of oil in that one. And then like wanders off with you.
Not only does he always have a drink, he always has the right drink.
Ryan, it's not working so good on this guy. Smash cut. What's in the med bay?
Yeah.
What is up with him? How can he go like 1 minute you swear he's completely forgotten about you and like he's out of your life and like you don't even think he cares about you at all, and the next he's proclaiming how like you're the most important thing in his world and he would risk his life for you. And I think we spin around this like Faye like throwing her arms up in the air in the med bay, and then as the camera like spins around, Carrie is in there as well. Because she's been doing this, and Faye is basically erupting about her uncertainty regarding Lauren, and that.
Yeah, so you're like, shout, 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 gesture, gesture, shout, shout, gesture, and then the camera spins around and Carrie's sitting there, and she goes, "You do realize that you're essentially kidnapping me, right?"
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Harry's been through this song and dance, Faye.
I mean, the thought did occur to me. Yes, it's true. I apologize. I mean, I would say I could let you off here, but you probably want to be taken back home. I'm sorry we kidnapped you. It was complicated, but I promise we'll get this thing and then we'll take you back home. You can just stay on the ship. You don't need to. In fact, you shouldn't come with us to go get it because apparently it's dangerous. But the ship will be fine. You can just close up. That's not important.
Yes,
I'm
actually
legal.
it is.
No, it's totally. I am a registered owner of this ship. I have passed all.
She waves one hand and says, like, look, I've been through the whole gamut with Lauren, and I was young once too. But what you're feeling here, this drama, this flamboyance, this flair, it's just a thing of youth. Unfortunately, Loren never learned how to grow up. It never fucking stops. That's why I got off the train.
So why did you even agree to see him again when he came into town? If he never changes, why give him another chance? Clearly, you haven't completely given up on him.
She stands up and says, there's a difference between treating a patient and looking for a relationship. But truth be told, maybe I wanted to see what was left there. However, being where I'm being, sleeping in a bunk on a ship that I'm not supposed to be on, I think we're pretty clear where things stand. Do you have any medical needs?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of burnt from freezing to death. So,
did you cure that on planet? I thought you rolled.
No. I don't think Faye did.
I mean, I did. I got 2 ticks on it, but you know, it's I did a recovery. I did a recovery action, but I didn't heal that.
So I think that a lot of her like anger and kind of like standoffishness melts away as she like steps into her like bedside manner and doctor persona, and you sense that in some ways this is a relief. Like she's extremely stressed about being in this situation, and tending to people's wounds and stuff like relaxes her a lot. So she will treat you. If you want to spend a coin for downtime, you can.
You see if I have it. I think I do. I bet I do. I think we have some money right now. Faye has no money, but she has stash.
Ship has coin.
Ship has coin. Does it? Where? Why can't I not find it? Oh, there it is. Yeah. Does anyone mind if I spend one of the ship cred for a recovery action?
No.
Go for it.
Awesome. Cool.
You're so adorable. You're like, what do you folks think? According to the rules, you can just spend.
I know.
Well, of course.
I can also ask too. Yeah, I spend one, and you know, which I think represents our, you know, various resources and whatnot that we're allocating to her. And yeah, but Faye is still, I mean, she's not being the worst patient, but she's definitely being a very talky patient. She's like, yo, oh, actually it's true. And she like peels off her shirt and shows like, yeah, I'm horribly burned. And it really hurts all the time. But back to the important stuff. You think he'll ever learn? I mean, I feel like he's matured even since I've known him. And yeah, Faye continues with like the trying to figure Lauren out. And like
mid-bay doors open, ajar. It's loud.
Oh, totally.
Reverberating off the halls. It's so good.
Cool. I think she has like maybe just one set of. Actually, I don't know. No, I have a feeling that there's this like she tolerates Faye for a little while, and then just like at some point when Faye's been going on for a little bit, she now she's not going to violate her Hippocratic oath. She's not
going to hit me with the sedative to.
But I think not. I think she actually showcases some humanity. She will never abuse the trust of a patient like that. I think that because she's like a proper, honest to goodness doctor with a Hippocratic oath and all that good nonsense. Even though there's no Hippocrates in this universe, but you get the idea.
Sure, I'm down.
Yeah, I think she just at some point she just cuts you off, and she's just like, "Can we please talk about anything else? I am sick and tired of fucking talking about my ex."
And I think as she says that, the doors open and Lauren is there. And he's like, oh, there you are. You ran off from dinner really fast to Faye. He's like, I just wanted to make sure. Are you okay? It looks like so glad that you guys are getting along. You know what? I'll leave you to it. Carrie, thanks. Faye, I'll see you later.
like
walks up.
Medical implement she's got.
I think I want to be like, ow! Like she's like digs it into me accidentally.
I'm so sorry. She offers you a pacifier. All right. Unless you have anything else, I feel like that's
No.
do you want to spend a coin? Do you want to make the roll?
Yep.
Go
Spend
ahead,
a
make an
coin
intelligence roll.
and
2 dice.
2 dice because 1 for her and 1 for Medbay.
You got it.
All right.
Look at you.
Carry, passion. All right, that's 2 more ticks.
Yep.
All right.
Nice.
And boop. Okay, so she's 4 out of 6. I need 2 more, and Space Frozen will just be down to space.
No, it goes away. This is
Oh, right.
this is
Yeah.
Blades healing, not revised Blades healing for 8-1.
Yeah.
We kept the old format because space is a little more forgiving. Even powerful wounds with proper amounts of treatment can be cleared away pretty quickly because
Yep.
advanced medicine is good. All
Yeah.
right, cool. All right, so are we going to just jump into the job? Do you guys want to do some more prep? Do you want to? What's the plan here?
I don't know what other prep we would do.
I mean, I
what
think
do
we
y'all
could
think?
still survey the planet when we got there and we could look at what's going on. But honestly, we know that we're not really going to get into the meat of it until we take those bikes and get there. So I say we just start the job. I say we make an engagement roll, get into it. We're not supposed to belabor planning, and
Right.
we're almost to our next break. So I'm ready to roll some dice and start a score.
Get into some strange adventures on alien planets.
Yeah.
All right, awesome.
Exactly.
So I want to have just one super quick brief scene with Boz in the cargo bay, if that's okay. So I think that one of the things is that you offered to help, and as I mentioned, like Boyan said, like, well, maybe you can.
Yeah.
And then you said, like, we don't really know what we're doing, and he's like, well, then maybe you should practice because that's the only way that this stuff works. So as he's like walking over into the cargo bay, he'll like take off some of his like basic accoutrements until he's got like essentially like a loincloth and his like fishy scales with those scars with the glowing stuff inside it. And he has like a stick. And he'll toss you a stick because sticks are things you can have on a boat, right?
We've got those. Boz has all
Sure.
kinds of good stuff.
So essentially he'll say like he goes like, all right, show me what you know.
Nice. Yeah, and that'll end up starting out like real slow, right? And purposeful, and then will be kind of self-contained katas, and then it'll transition probably out of a overdeveloped sense, like an unsubtle sense of eagerness into something offensive.
Cool.
And then
go on.
And just kind of go see how that looks from there.
So I think that you do like sequences of moves and things like that. And one of the things you'll notice about him is he seems to be anticipating where you're coming, like somewhat well. And then at some point he says like he says like good stop. Like he'll take like a step back from like your offensive and just be like good stop. And it says like, all right, now do it again without your eyes. He goes like, your eyes will lie to you, and he does like a fake, but then like attacks from a different direction. And obviously, you're Boz, you could like block this, but you know he's trying to prove a point.
Sure.
What he says is, the way never lies.
And Basel sort of Boz is in beginning to do this has dropped all of the like. There's no whining. There's just like showing up and doing the thing and being really focused and purposeful and intent. And in doing that, will do as directed and close her eyes and sort of stand there and like at that sort of off balance point of action, and then start again and slowly, and not necessarily haltingly, but there's definitely like some hesitation to start, right?
Cool. So I think that Yeah, I think that's like part of the exercise. Like
Mm-hmm.
he just showcases to you, you know, like he's trying to teach you to like look at a room and a situation with observing like the parameters that are around it rather than looking at a room and a situation like physically.
Sure.
Because you have like he'll tell you things like you understand your position in space, you understand your purpose, and like what you need to do is sense the problem before it appears and anticipate the blow before it strikes. Only then can you move fast enough to move faster than the other person. Because I'm not necessarily faster than you, I'm not necessarily stronger than you, but only by knowing what you're going to do before you know am I always prepared and have a counter motion. It's very kind of like Zen nonsense, but like he definitely believes in it wholeheartedly. And as a matter of fact, like sometimes you'll see that like when he's fighting, there's this like weird ripple effect, like light almost like bends, and he like flows from place to place like a bit differently than he should like be able to in like physical space. Like it's almost like
And I was gonna say that's perceive, not see with eyeballs.
exactly.
Okay.
So no. That's see with eyeballs. Perceive
Awesome.
usually him very. It's very clear because the way is allows you to detect killing intent. So one of the things that you realize is that, and like him at rest is fuzzy and nondescript. Him preparing to strike, you see like as he's preparing to strike, exactly that form coming through the way at you before he actually like follows through in the physical arc.
Neat.
And that's what he's kind of trying to teach you to see.
Excellent. Cool. Good times.
I have a question. Because the way detects killing intent, does that mean that the only way that he can effectively teach Boz is to like not pull any punches?
Yeah,
like,
and he
yeah,
does it because he's a pirate and he's used to being like, all right, best way to learn is if I whap you upside the head.
Nice.
I like imagining these two individuals doing this in the cargo bay, and it's relatively quiet, but there's like these real abrupt like outbursts of like violence from the two of them, and anyone in passing. Just this, it seems lovely, and this relatively like burden goes running through. It's sort of quiet, but it's louder than it normally is. And
I also like to imagine that one of the things that he tells you is that you can't always be looking for it, but you need to trust like your instincts as to when you need to snap into focus. So occasionally he'll pass you in the hallway and you'll get that like and then he'll like come at you like from behind or like whatever, and he expects you to do the same. So there's arbitrary times at dinner where like everyone's like eating food and all of a sudden he like tries to stab dogs with a fork.
So there's something else for everyone to be like, what the hell about?
I think the first time that happens too, like Lauren stands up like and basically draws his blaster and points it at Buoyant, and it's like, the fuck did you just do? And then I would imagine Boz is like, it's fine.
We're good.
It's cool. We're friends.
Yeah, no, I think Boz would very, very cheerfully. The thing that probably gives it away is that Boz is actually grinning for having like Boz is not a super smiley person and is having a lot of. It's really gratifying to have someone to learn from, and is enjoying both succeeding and failing, and probably has gotten a couple of whaps and maybe stabbed by a fork, right here and there. But for the most part, that time didn't succeed the first time through. And the thing that gives Lauren pause, I imagine initially, is Boz grinning and then explaining.
I think like Buoyant like has like the fork came like rapid fire at your hand.
Yeah.
If you moved it out of the way, he goes like, you know, the blaster gets pulled on him and he does that like nictating membrane like fish eye like blink.
Yeah.
Pulls the fork out of the wood countertop where it like buried in like a 1/4 inch, and then like calmly like places it inside whatever like kale leaf or something is like in the dish in front of him and like chews on it like, yeah, you're almost like a little like, what did I do? Like, you know what you need as you're pointing a gun at him? A drink.
Yeah, so I think he like pours a drink, pushes it towards me. I still have a gun out. I look at Boz. Boz is grinning and it's like, it's totally fine. This is what's happening. I look back at him. I lower the gun, take the drink, look back at Boz. She's still thrilled for whatever reason. I cannot imagine. And I take the drink and kind of give him a nod, be like, okay, I'll accept this behavior. I guess it's fine.
So I think that everyone is like clipping on their gear and getting ready. So like the Stardancer can only come down so low in the atmosphere, like before its systems start shutting down. So you guys are gonna have to basically like bounce out like on top of some hill and come.
And I have a question about the system shutting down. Is that due to the Temple or is that due to environmental factors?
It's the Temple.
Okay.
But there's no atmosphere, so I assume you guys are gonna have like rebreather masks or spacesuits and stuff on.
Yeah.
So, but as that's happening, as you guys are putting on the gear and everything, before anything else happens, I think Boyne's like, wait. Shh. And like, as you guys like look over, you realize that like, Mr. Guns is standing there, and then he looks around, and when he doesn't see like anyone, people are like peeking. He like reaches over and picks up, and it's this like long glass with like 7 layers of bright colors, and then like looks left, looks right, and then like puts it away and like sets it down, and then like stands like he didn't do anything. And, like she's like, yes,
I finally found the one.
So
Nice.
Nice.
So good.
I think as we're like getting ready, Lauren is like, God, it's been such a long time. I used to do this all the time, like for fun, basically, because this is kind of like base jumping. It's like a weird bougie thing that Lauren used to do in a thrill-seeking way. It's like, yeah, we'd take a ship up and then we'd go and we'd get our stuff. I'm so excited. And he like looks around and he's like, I wish Carrie were here. She and I have done this. We did this 2 or 3 times and she was so scared. It's really gets your adrenaline. It's good stuff. He's just like babbling on about how great this is.
Nice.
who goes out the edge first? Is it Faye or Lorette?
I think as this is happening. Well,
Is it
yeah.
Boss?
I think Lauren would be really excited to like help anyone down.
Super good. That's awesome. And I don't mean to cut you off, Sean. Please, if you've got a
No. There was a thing I wanted to do as we were getting close, and it's probably pretty short. Although we could be wrong. I could be wrong. So, you said this Temple shuts off machines, shuts off engines. We've also run into another device that shuts off jump drives, and Faye is morbidly curious because she is obsessed with the box.
yeah, check
As
in.
when we get close, like when it starts acting weird, Faye's gonna go into the engine room before we're ready to jump and see if the big box is doing anything, like if it's reacting at all, if these two technologies have anything to do with one another.
Cool. So you're pretty well used to like doing the like tap and hand away type thing.
Yep.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, the big box is kind of like humming and it's like levitating, like and you see it like it's tilted like in a different direction or something. But as you read its skin, kind of like looking at the patterns with the star maps and all that stuff, you realize that sure enough, this temple has another little white dot in it.
Ooh.
That's
Yeah.
exciting.
All right.
Treasure.
So I'm like, man, I just gotta know. I gotta understand. I just gotta like. I don't want to go in there blind. And Faye just grabs the big
small
one.
cube.
The small one. Sorry. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So that'll be a thing that you have on you then.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. I wanna attune to it.
Would you like to roll a tune?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Superb.
Let's see how it goes. What position is it?
For reasons that may not be clear yet, it's controlled.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Then my 0 dots should not hurt me as bad. Someday Faye will have to start putting points into these actions that she uses, and
Beginner's mind forever.
hey,
So
you
it's not the worst outcome.
you can not attune to it now, or you can push forward and try to do it, but it's going to be risky. So you're like,
I thought that was. I thought that was 1 to 3 result, right? 1 to 3 is you don't do it, or you can push and be risky.
You could be right. So controlled 4 to 5, you hesitate, withdraw and try a different approach, or else do it with a minor consequence.
That's what I want.
Occurs, you have reduced effect, you suffer lesser harm, or you end up in a risky position.
Yep, I want that minor consequence.
Now, I have to warn you ahead of time. You have a voice of the box clock, and there's only 1 tick remaining on it.
So good. What
Yeah.
great timing.
That final, the minor consequence would be that tick.
Oh wow.
You can say nope. To resolve resist.
Yeah, I will.
I'll even tell you what that looks like. So your vision's gonna black over, and it's almost like somebody like in a CGI shop, inverted reality, where like lines around everything are now light, and the light bits are dark. It's all like photo negative looking. But as you look towards the temple, you actually see like a bizarre star constellation, and you see like 1 dot that's like right inside it, and you feel this like powerful, compelling urge to go in there and get it. And you can basically be like, nope, and you can be in control.
Yeah, I'll resist that. That sounds. I like to know about it, but not be
on your terms.
On my terms. Yeah.
This is the episode where they keep saying that to everybody. Victor,
yeah.
box.
Yep. Nobody's telling me what to do.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Awesome.
Cool.
So you pay 1 stress, and you're still in control. You have avoided the
nice. But I've gotten some sort of layout of this temple then, or at least to some degree.
Nice.
And what that looks like, we'll find out when we make an engagement roll after the break.
Dun, dun, dun.
You're the best. All right. See everybody soon.